Well, today the synagogue of Satan are mourning the loss of one of their own, Paul Walker. I say this because nobody can become a rich and famous anything, particularly when it comes to SOS, the synagogue of Satan, without making a pact with the devil. His first cameo appearance as a movie star. He came from TV to movie. He's a childhood star. Was of course The Skulls, which is all about the skull and bones. I'm pretty dubious about anything the mainstream media puts out, especially when one of their darlings supposedly smashed into a twig at 150 miles an hour. Everything about this is egghead, feel-good bullshit, in my view. But first, I'll offer my condolences to the family and friends that lost poor Paul Walker. You know, there's already conspiracy nut job theories out there, connecting the Illuminati murdering Paul Walker. Of course, as it is with any celebrity that dies suddenly, the conspiracy theories surrounding Paul Walker are coming out fast and furious. I'll just read a little excerpt from this site. Paul Walker's tragic early demise came at about 3:30 p.m. 33 PST Saturday when a red Porsche GT being driven by professional racer Roger Rodas and carrying Walker in the passenger seat crashed into a tree in the Southern California town, bursting into flames and killing both men. Okay, let me get this straight. Tammuz, TMZ, has been catching all of this, okay, right up to his death. All of a sudden they just coincidentally just start getting an interest in Paul Walker just as he's about to die. And they caught him getting into this Porsche just minutes before the spectacular crash. Now, this guy Rhoda is a professional car racer. It's broad daylight. The egghead media has reported often enough, they've mentioned that this stretch of road that they were racing down was a favorite for people bringing their hot rods down there, or their muscle cars, and racing on this particular stretch of road. But the post that Rhoda smashed into says a 45 mile an hour speed limit. But that doesn't make sense because it's a stretch of road out in the middle of nowhere. Why would they have a 45 mile an hour speed limit? And why would a professional racer lose control on a straightaway? And when you look at the overhead video, there's no skid marks. I read in another report by the egghead media that there was all kinds of figure-8 skid marks on the way into the crash scene, but the overhead view shows no sign. It looks like the car was placed there, just like Michael Hastings' car was placed there. Why would this professional racer just suddenly go off the road? Why would he be driving like the impact looks like 100 mile, over 100 miles an hour. That's safe to say that the impact looks like it was literally 100 miles an hour. And if you look at other accidents and just Google in the images, car crash, pole, post, utility pole, whatever, and you're not going to see one car crash where the car catastrophically explodes. Some of the cars are split in half. This is so weird. And the car's wrapped around two twiggy little trees. That if the car actually smashed into these trees at high speed, there'd be nothing left of them. They'd be flattened. and the car would have went sailing past where those trees were. There's no way two little trees are going to stop 2,000 pounds from flying at it at 100 miles an hour. And it's the funny thing is, it's wrapped right around these trees. It looks like the trees were actually actually caused this kinetic damage to the car. It's absolutely absurd. When you look at the first time I saw this, I went, what? The theorists point to a number of pieces of evidence that have arisen during the investigation as potential indicators that the public is not being told the whole story. Well, that part is obvious, and that part is given anytime the mainstream puts out anything. They're not being told about the whole story about Walker's death, from the fact that the crash took place in broad daylight to Los Angeles County Department of Coroner Assistant Chief of Investigation Ed Winter's revelation that the bodies of Walker and Rodas were so badly burned that they would likely not be able to be positively identified for several days. Okay, now that's an official story, but here we have like the tear-jerking, soap opera aspect of Paul Walker's death, the legend, with this guy. Listen to this ridiculous story he weaves.
You came up on Paul right after the crash. Can you just kind of tell him this what happened? I mean, I know it's emotional, but
yeah, we got a phone call. Everyone did at the event, and heard that they might have been involved in a car wreck, and it was confirmed that they were stuck. They were trapped. So we just jumped into cars. I jumped into my own vehicle, ran across to the other part of the shop and grabbed a fire extinguisher, and just came to the scene.
Yeah, you got there before the fire department, eh? And this guy was at the forefront trying to supposedly pull Paul Walker out of his seat. He couldn't see the driver though. And the passenger side is the most catastrophic damage. That's the side that folded like a jackknife. And they got there before the fire department, just like the Hatzola were seen by that crew, that freelance news TV crew, Radio Labs or whatever, who got there before anybody else within 4 minutes and were hosing down Michael Hastings' car. These guys got here before the fire department did. And when the fire department and the police, after everything this guy explains, they had to restrain them because they were so excited and determined to save Paul Walker's life. And meanwhile, he doesn't have his auto body, the writing on his shirt, the white writing, is nice and white. He doesn't have a piece of dirt on him. And yet he was hands-on, and he was trying to, out of this blazing inferno. I mean, I'm sorry if I don't believe anything the TV says, but this is just the way it is.
And as soon as I arrived, myself, other buddies, loved ones, friends, employees, a lot of Paul's employees, everyone from the shop is here, risking our own safety. And we're trying with extinguishers to put out the flames. And it was just immense.
you said he was trapped in the car?
He was trapped. You could see him. I could see him.
Did he say anything, or was he unconscious at that point?
He was unconscious. So
when you showed up, the car was just engulfed in flames?
Yeah, it was engulfed in flames. There was just...
The driver was ejected?
I couldn't see the driver. I could just see the passenger.
You saw Paul in the passenger seat?
Yeah. And so I was trying to put out the flames, and as I was trying, his employees and brothers at Heart were also trying, and they were risking their lives trying to reach into the car and undo his seatbelt. And I had to grab him, and we pulled each other off because we were all fighting, risking ourselves because it's something that he would have done, and he's proven to do.
The firefighters got here pretty quick?
Firefighters, by the time they showed up, we were all out. There was about at least 7 extinguishers, and we were out. Fire department showed up, pulled hose, had to restrain us. They put some of the employees and myself in squad cars because we wouldn't leave the scene. We wouldn't stop fighting, trying to help. And they tried to let us know to let them do their job. And that's where he lay. That's where he lies.
I'm really sorry about that, Antonio.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Why they put us in squad cars? Do you mean like Vin Diesel, who gave a nice little eulogy, compliments of the LAPD, who were so courteous as to allow him to use their loudspeaker? Another thing I found interesting was, again, TMZ caught him just before he died at the airport. And as Tammuz is interviewing him, the subject goes to an incident where somebody was impersonating Paul. I just found that a little odd.
You're gonna do Fast and Furious 38.
We're talking 66 right now. Be in wheelchairs. I'll be in a walker.
That would be hard, dude.
I'm gonna make sure I tell it.
Fast and the Furious geriatric.
Right.
Dude, the world is kind of on fire right now. Okay, maybe not the world, but all women. What the hell is who's the lady that gets paid to spray like oil all over you? You see those photos that came out? There's photos of you like.
No, I got emails about it. I didn't see it.
Yeah, you doing the cool water thing?
No.
It wasn't a David off cool water.
That's all made up.
All made up. What? So you just randomly have some chick spraying you with oil?
That wasn't even me. It was some other dude. They thought it was me.
No, this is. Oh, now you're playing with me.
No, I swear to God.
You swear? Okay.
They thought it was me, and it wasn't even me.
I love this.
Because I did the campaign before.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, but no, it's not even me in the.
So
photos.
they did. Maybe David off picked some dude trying to a knockoff Paul Walker.
Yeah, they got a guy for a better price. He kind of looked like.
You cool? That was. I think his name was Johnny Walker.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, take care, man.
Sounds a bit like he's speaking in code. Anyways, to wrap this video up, the biggest problem I had with this was the actual crash scene. The car looks like it was heading from the bottom of the screen up, slammed into the pole and then the trees. But that doesn't make any sense because the pole is knocked down the opposite way than you would expect. If the car came from the top of the screen down, then it wouldn't be wrapped around the trees. So absolutely nothing about this thing makes sense. I'm not saying it's a hoax, I'm just commenting on it. Yeah, it's not really true, Gunny. Everything they make up is, well, it's a fairy tale. Right, Gunny?
Yeah. It's an actual fairy tale because they always want to make people kind of scared about doing their driving test, so they always put this up for some reason. And some stuff that's not true, and then they just have a cut scene. So they like go to the junkyard and then they like take it, and then they put all those things, and then
It's basically what you have to do when you have any questions and you're looking at these Hollywood, Kabollywood spectacles. You just ask a 6-year-old kid and he can see clearly.